You're about to listen to the Dr. Dahlia Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Dahlia Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Dahlia.
And we're back in the Dr. Dahlia Show, 1-877-Dr. 1-877-DOCDALI. So we are seeing triple-digit temperatures across the United States. Europe is having a monstrous heat wave. As we spoke about earlier in the month, there's been fatalities from parents accidentally leaving their kids in the car. Just horrible. And so I want to review with you guys heat illness because unfortunately with these high temperatures, we think our body can handle it, adapt, and oftentimes our body can't. So you'll keep hearing, the term heat index. The heat index is your air temperature and humidity. And so when you hear of heat warnings or excessive heat warnings, it relates to the heat index. So a heat index that's greater than 105 degrees for more than 2 hours a day for at least 2 days in a row, with the nighttime temperatures not dropping below 75 degrees, will issue an excessive heat warning. I've lived in areas where very easily the temperature went up to 120. So, we had excessive heat throughout the summer and it was pretty bad. But there are medical conditions that can occur when you're exposed to heat. And so people say, well, we got to avoid heat stroke, but nobody looks like they're in heat stroke around us, so we're good. Well, what precedes heat stroke? Well, there's a few steps that could precede it. So the first thing that we might feel when we're out in the heat or dealing with the heat is something called heat cramps. So heat cramps are these very painful spasms that occur in the muscles of the arms, legs, even abdomen. So what we think is happening is when you lose fluid, dehydrate, and you lose salt, because when you sweat, you're not just losing pure water, you're losing salt. This can cause cramps. And so when you do start to feel crampy or notice somebody's kind of achy, you got to get them fluid with electrolytes. Get them out of the heat. Sometimes we need to massage the body parts that are affected. Now, from heat cramps, you could start to go into heat exhaustion. This is a little riskier. This is where the victim sweats profusely. They become more and more dehydrated. They could also have cramps, but nausea could ensue. They could get pale, clammy. The heart rate will increase, trying to compensate for the lost fluid. And these individuals may become dizzy, weak, even faint. Got to get them indoors, lie them down, elevate their feet, give them sips of fluid, cool. Again, as they're conscious, right? This is not heat stroke yet. This is heat exhaustion where they can still talk to you, drink, etc. You could cool the body down by applying cool and wet clothes or cloths to the underarms and body. Don't be applying ice directly to the body because that could cause damage to the skin and frostbite. And then if anybody is dizzy, weak, or faint, get medical authorities. I know a lot of online recommendations are, no, hydrate them. You only have to call medical authorities when it's heat stroke. If somebody's dizzy and feeling weak and faint, they could be on the verge of heat stroke. I would still call medical. I would either call 911 or make sure they get a medical evaluation. Now, if a vulnerable person does not get out of the heat in time, heat stroke could then ensue. This is a medical emergency and can be fatal. If at all you are suspecting heat stroke, you got to call 911. You got to bring the victim indoors, get them out of the sunlight. Don't just put them by a window, all right? Lie them down. You may have to remove unnecessary clothing, cool their body down with cool compresses. Again, cool compresses, not ice. And then you want to watch for signs of rapidly progressive heat stroke in case you need to initiate CPR. Heat stroke could look like dizziness, loss of consciousness, difficulty breathing, even seizing. Now, if it looks like they cannot drink and they're losing consciousness, then you can't give them oral fluids because then that could go into their lungs. So only if they are alert, awake, and able to swallow can you give them fluids. Some people might say, well, why don't I give them some Tylenol? That'll bring down their body temperature. And Tylenol and aspirin, no, because their body might not be able to metabolize them well while they're in this state, and that can make matters worse. So, we talk about this all the time. Let's say there's a barbecue, and everybody's kind of hanging out, and grandma or your mother-in-law hasn't bugged you, in the last 30 minutes. Don't just sit there and high-five each other going, whew, it's been peaceful. Check on her. Young children, elderly individuals may have issues adjusting to the outside environment, may be more prone to dehydration. Plus, when you have somebody with medical conditions like heart, lung, thyroid disease, they could be at risk as well. And if anybody has suffered from heat stroke, they could be more vulnerable to getting heat stroke again. Medications, like people taking diuretics, like hydrochlorothiazide or Lasix, vasodilators, beta blockers for blood pressure, taking antidepressants could also make you at risk for heat-related illness. So, unfortunately, the biggest risk for people is when we're unprepared. So, another thing that seems to happen is we have a pretty cool week. You know, like there was a couple weeks in June where the temperatures dropped in my neck of the woods. So people are like, oh, great, the weather's fine. And then within 24 hours, all of a sudden, it goes from, 0 to 90. And not in terms of temperature, but in terms of the speed at which the temperature is rising. So a lot of people forget to take proper precautions. Like, oh my gosh, this weekend is amazing. We had some rain, so it's going to be nice over 4th of July. And then all of a sudden they're in trouble. Ensure that your air conditioning is working. Our air conditioning always seems to poop out every year. And I keep reminding my husband, let's check on it when it's still cool. Because if we call the air conditioning repairman when everybody else is, we're going to have like a multiple week wait. So check your air conditioning as soon as possible. Stay indoors. Make sure you have fan devices. Some people will put cool clothes next to a fan to try to make it like wet clothes. Try to make it like a swamp, like a swamp cooler. Be careful not to light you don't want water and electric outlets, so be careful. But make sure your fan devices are working properly. Wear cooler clothing. Make sure you have plenty of fluids and electrolytes to hydrate, etc. And your pets, watch out for your pets. Your pets can also get heat stroke. So make sure they come in. Avoid drinking alcohol in the heat. It could dehydrate you more, worsen the situation. Avoid excessive exercise when you're outdoors. I know everybody wants to do the Tom Cruise volleyball game. Understand that could increase your heat issues. But don't let the heat get to you. Yep. If you can't take the heat, get out of the heat. 1-877-DOC-SALLY.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020 for a free consultation. For 16 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Battling for years and years, stuck in the endless cycle of minimum payments could take decades. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020. That's 800-878-6020. 800-878-6020.
Let's face it, guys, we're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's Aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at Aftermath.media. Again, that's Aftermath.media.
And we're back on the Dr. Dolly Show, 1-877-DOC-DOLLY, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Dahlia, Facebook, The Dr. Dahlia Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So a big complaint I'm getting from many listeners is how, they didn't keep their doctor during Obamacare, which we predicted, right? Obama said you get to keep your doctor. And you're getting a different doctor every day, every time you get seen or you call into telemedicine. Because the telemedicine company you work for, they're different doctors, and whoever, sees you in the queue, you could ask for a specific doctor and you could try to do primary care side of things. But most of your teledoc companies, etc., you get a random doctor. And that, at first, scared a lot of medical providers going, well, wait a second. We could be missing things. But these companies came up with guidelines. And, what you should do when you should refer out, like pneumonia. Pneumonia should not be treated online. I think a lot of doctors are doing it. But after we saw what happened with Kyle Busch and after what I've seen in training, I don't treat pneumonia over the phone. Pneumonia can be deadly and it could turn into sepsis. You should be examined. We need to know where the pneumonia is, which lobe, how bad it is, how your oxygen status is, and if you're healing. So I look at pneumonia very seriously. But one issue that I didn't think we were going to have as it pertains to telemedicine, which you guys have been telling me is a big issue, is you have a different diagnosis and a different approach depending on the doctor you get. Now, in the olden days, you had gonorrhea, you got penicillin. You had chicken pox, you were told to use fluids and calamine lotion. You had a cold, you take some chicken soup. I mean, it was pretty just common type things that you would do. Get a tick bite, we'll do some doxycycline prophylaxis. I mean, there's standards of care. They still exist in medicine. But many of you are saying, no. You'll have one doctor say you need an x-ray, another doctor not. You'll have one doctor say you have to go to the ER, another doctor won't. They'll say treat at home. And many of you are confused, just like we're confused with the Supreme Court justices, how they're all not, you got conservative and liberal judges. That really confuses me when you're supposed to be going into law neutrally. Many of you are confused going, why are two doctors on opposite sides of the spectrum? Now, mind you, all right, I mean, if we examined you in an urgent care and you had a fracture, it is going to be that you have a fracture, you're getting splinted, then sent to ortho, getting casted, non-weight bearing until you're able to gain to bear weight, until we think you're getting union of the. I mean, there's standards of care. But when it's over the phone, I'm noticing there's a lot of, I guess more. It's more fluid. So, for example, I had a patient who was, I think, 12 days out from a severe hot oil burn of his foot and toes. Now, I did burn care in my training. Day one of burn care, we learned if you burn your face, hands, feet, genitalia, you got to go to the ER for burn care. Or if you have a burn that's a large part of your body, you're going to have to go to burn care. Especially hands, face, feet, genitalia. So I asked him, I go, did you go to the ER? You had a burn of your foot? And he said, no. The doctor didn't say I had to. So he had seen another telemedicine doctor who said to use, topical antibiotic ointment. Well, now it's 12 days out. He's getting fluid release. And to me, it doesn't look like it's healing. So I told him, you got to go to the ER. And you need burn care. You need to get this cleaned up. We need to, why would a burn fester? Well, we talked about that. When you have injured skin from a burn or from hot oil or from frostbite and it kills the skin, your body can only do so much getting rid of dead, damaged tissue. So what we do in burn care is a variety of things. One is debriding any dead or unhealthy skin, even to the macroscopic level. not necessarily overly microscopic, but to the millimeter, if possible, to try to save your good skin and allow it to grow. We use proper bandages. We might have to do antibiotics. We watch for compression syndrome, infection, swelling, cellulitis, sepsis. But we take care of the wound so that we hope your skin can grow. And if it's severe, sometimes we have to graft skin from a healthy part of the body to the burn area. And burns of the hand, face, feet, genitalia are a lot more fickle, unpredictable in their healing. So he actually doesn't have a problem with, the previous advice because he got to stay home. He's mad at me. And he's like, look, I don't want to go to the ER. Just give me something. I go, I'm looking at your, it looks bad. It looks swollen, discolored. This is kind of what you need to do. In fact, if you guys just Google, I think you even Google AI, says hands, face, genitalia, you got to go to the ER and get this looked at. Another thing is, when do you, if you burn yourself, have to go and seek immediate attention? If it's not healing, if it's oozing, those are bad signs. And so I can't explain why one doctor, there is an explanation. I went to a really good medical school. I went to University of Nevada, Reno. And I got to tell you, and then at my last year, I went to UCLA. But what I got taught, and this, my burn care was through the UNR, University of Nevada, Reno School of Medicine. I got to tell you, all it took was one doctor telling me something, and it was only one doctor who said that. But I remembered it. Just like the one doctor said, any sign of blood in the stool, they really should be evaluated and make sure you don't have colon cancer. Some other doctors didn't get that. And one of my colleagues missed a colorectal cancer and the patient died. And I'm like, why didn't you send them to GI right away? That's how I was learned. So sometimes it is a different teacher. But there are standards of care and there's also common sense. And so if you're frustrated that you're getting different advice from the doctor, go with the one who's being more conservative. Now, many of you are like, look, every doctor's trying to cover their ass. They're all going to say to go in and get seen. Well, you are going to probably get that advice because, we don't want to miss something. We don't want you to be having pneumonia and at home and it going into sepsis. We don't want you having a melanoma that's growing and nobody's looking at it. Okay, we want you seen. But some of you have the argument, and justifiably so, that the doctor doesn't do anything. You go in and nothing gets done. Then you need to ask for a doctor who will do something. And then I told you how to address medical providers that aren't spending any time with you. What you need to do is ask them specifically, with the nurse or witness in the room, how do I know this spot isn't skin cancer? Do I need a biopsy? How do I know this leg swelling isn't a blood clot? How do I know this pneumonia won't go into sepsis or kill me? What should I be doing? Where should I go? How do I know? This chest pain, how do I know it's not a sign of coronary artery disease? That doctor should stop and either explain the signs you need to look for or actually do the testing. If they just walk out and don't listen to you, you got to get a new doctor. And it's tough because you guys didn't go to medical school. And so you shouldn't be expected to know these things. But I can't tell you how many times I saved my kid's life just because I knew something. And I asked, I go, guys, can somebody check the baby monitor? His heart rate's in the 40s. Where's the staff? What's going on, guys? You don't give an MMR to a 4-month-old. You give the MMR vaccine when they're a year. Come on, people. Not saying he would have died from that, but there's mistakes being made, a lot of medical errors. But one big error is not getting the testing or, getting something looked at. Look at how many cases we've talked about on the show where somebody had a severe illness, Parkinson's, mini strokes, breast cancer, but they were quote unquote blown off by the doctor. So I try to teach you guys as much as possible on the show. And ask, you can always email us, drdahlia.com. You can always email us. I won't be able to give medical advice, but I can at least tell you what to ask your doctor and how to word it. and say, look, I've been having this breast pain. I know you did a mammogram, but should I, be doing something more? How do I know this isn't a form of breast cancer that the mammogram is not picking up? And see what their answer is. And if it's reassuring and it makes sense, all right, do your follow-up test. But if you're like, I don't think it's good enough, then you get a second opinion. You have every right to get a second opinion. It's your body. 1-877-Doc-Dolly.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
in many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regenerations. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, Fine Farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com.
Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
We are back on the Dr. Dolly Show, 1-877-Doc-Dolly, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So summer break is here, and what that means is the kids are out of school for months. Kind of wish we could do something more year-round where teachers can get breaks and we split up. Maybe we widen winter vacation more and shorten summer vacation. But unfortunately, the default for a lot of these kids are going to the screens. Many families are noticing a dramatic increase in the amount of time children are now spending online. Experts say this shift may also be linked to changes in their mood, stress, sleep, and overall digital well-being. I am really excited for our next guest, clinical psychologist and digital health expert, Dr. Lauren Lee. Dr. Lee, I am so glad you're coming on today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Wow. So, parents have been concerned that there's been a lot of digital use during the school year. How does the device use change now that we're looking at the summer?
Well, summer is increasingly being shaped by technology too, and it is changing the way that our kids play, socialize, and relax. So what we see is that school routines disappear and our kids' device usage creeps up until it hits weekend usage levels, and then it stays there all summer long. To put some numbers to it, our research found that screen time increases by about 30% for kids aged 7 through 12 during the summer months. And 75% of younger kids told us that they would rather watch videos than play with actual toys. So this is becoming a widespread concern, so much so that even Hollywood is taking notice. The villain in Toy Story 5 is actually a tablet.
I'm excited for that. I cannot wait for Toy Story 5. But I love you bring that up, Dr. Lee, because the fact that kids are choosing tablets over toys, and I know there's some other things we want to talk about, but I think the psychology behind that is when my brother would break his toys, I remember he got in trouble. And when the toy was broken, it was gone. My folks didn't get him another one. And I wonder if one of the reasons why the kids prefer tech sometimes is because it's always there.
You're absolutely right. I mean, tech is available 24/7. One of the things with tech, too, is that it takes very little cognitive effort for children to watch videos, right? It's a very passive kind of consumption experience versus, say, something like imaginative play that takes a lot more energy and effort for them. And, depending on where you live during the summer, when there's the summer heat going on, it's easy to see why tablets may win out.
So my go-to apps, are Candy Crush. I think I play a Tetris game and the Sport Book. What are the apps that the kids typically use?
Well, younger kids are on YouTube and Roblox 86% of the total time that they spend across their top 5 platforms in the summer. And teens are a little bit different. For them, social media dominates. We see that more than half of their total time is spent on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. But one of the things that's really interesting is that whereas we commonly think of screens as being entertainment, they are now also becoming primary venues for our kids to have social interaction. So increasingly, screens are where our kids are maintaining their friendships, developing their identities, or learning social norms. And we're seeing that these sort of shared digital interactions that kids have, they're becoming quite critical to how a child develops their social capital and how they feel included.
So we just spoke about that cluster of kids in Connecticut that died doing the Benadryl challenge, which they learned from online. Talk about, with your experience, some of the red flags that kids and families need to watch out for.
Well, absolutely. I mean, certainly there is content exposure, right, and what children may see online. We also, though, think generally screen time and too much of it can have harm for kids in terms of their mood, their stress, their sleep, and other behaviors. In fact, when you start to see a shift in your kid in these ways, it could be a sign that their digital well-being is low. And this is really common in the summer months. We find that 1 in 3 children experience this low digital well-being during the summer. And so besides just content that you want to watch out for, there's a couple behaviors or warning signs I want parents to know about. The first is late-night device use. The next is sudden changes in the apps or platforms that your kids are on. The third is withdrawal from offline activities. And the last is mood shifts that your kids may be experiencing after they have been online. These are all sort of critical warning signs to look out for.
So true. Dr. Lauren Lee is a clinical psychologist and digital health innovator leading the development of child safety and well-being products at Aura. Drawing on behavioral science, she helps shape Aura Parents, the company's family safety and wellness platform, creating tools designed to protect children online while supporting healthier digital habits and family dynamics in an increasingly connected world. I love that you're here because this is so helpful. So what are some steps parents should take to help kids build healthier digital habits?
Well, I want to assure parents of one thing, and that's that there's good news. I mean, kids still really do crave real-world connection. Over half of the children that we've surveyed in our research have shared with us that they know that too much screen time is not good for them. And when we've asked kids what they're most looking forward to this summer, it is not staring at their tablet. Instead, it is playing with friends or being outside. So my advice is actually pretty simple. It's not to eliminate screens, but it is to look for ways to create balance in your child's life. You can do this through things like building screen-free moments into their day. Perhaps this is screen-free meals or device-free bedtimes. You can ensure that they have offline hobbies and activities that they enjoy. And really important here, ensure that they've got ample time to spend with their friends and their family.
You know, also, since I've been doing telemedicine, my kids see me on the computer more. And so I'm trying to tell them to stay off the computer, yet they're looking at their parent as, but you're on the computer. And so, we really do need to lead by example.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I think one of the challenges for parents is that, we focus a lot on the screen time number. And the screen time number is important, right? I think so many parents have heard the 2-hour kind of rule with day-to-day. But one of the things that we're finding is that the content that your children are engaging with is actually much more critical than the total or absolute number of minutes that they're online. So I hear what you're saying about modeling by example, but I think, sharing the context of why you're online is also super important for them to understand.
In the last 30 seconds, where can our parents or listeners go for more information?
Well, I want to share with the listeners that we've got this fun 90s summer quiz that we created in partnership with Common Sense Media, and it can help to shift your child's online interest into offline fun that's good for them. You can find that at auraparents.com. You can also learn more about our tool, Aura Parents, that helps give you insights into your kids' screen time and digital well-being so that you can support their healthier online habits over time.
Check out auraparents.com. Dr. Lauren Lee, can't wait to have you back. This was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So when we come back after break, I'm going to give you guys some things that you could do with your kids, your nephews, your grandkids. You know, it's interesting. My nephew reached out. I got some amazing nephews, and they want to hit a water park. And I usually will take them, and so I want to take them. Although I got to tell you what they do to me at the water park. I got to tell you, I yell at them more than anything. So it's not that much of a bonding experience. But you know, we feel like there's not a lot of options in the summer, especially where I live, where it's really, really hot. Luckily, we don't have the humidity. So, you know, when we get back, I'll kind of give you guys some tips on what you could do for you and others to, you know, get kids more active. But you're going to hear this term digital wellness. It's going to come back a lot. You're going to see this a lot, where we're looking at, you know, people's digital health, or what the digital world is doing to their health, from a mental health standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from a not getting vitamin D, from a, you know, getting depressed, from a being exposed, you know, to predators. I mean, we do understand that there's apps and games, and we don't mind kids having some access, but we have to figure out ways to limit their screen time. And like Dr. Lee said, you know, manage it and supervise it, so we know what's going on. Don't go away. We'll be right back. 1-877 Doc Dolly. Hi guys, Dr. Dahlia here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdahlia.com. Check it out.
Thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit, and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799 and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799 and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe, someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Back in the Dr. Dolly Show, 1-877 Doc Dolly, 1-877-DOCDALI. So usually this time into the summer, I would post something like, you know, how many more days till school is back in session. I loved my boys, but they got on my nerves. And I've said this time and time again, summer break should not be 3 months. These kids need to be learning. They shouldn't be indoors watching TV, watching screens. We are losing 3 months out of every child's year, which is 4 years of learning in their childhood when they could be learning and doing things. And a lot of us couldn't afford camps and things like that. And so unfortunately, these kids sit and do tech, or they watch TV, or they sleep in and then they gain weight. Either make a winter vacation a little longer and summer shorter, Or, and I know teachers, like their schedule, but maybe what you could do is you could have some teachers have their 3 months off during the winter. Other teachers get their 3 months off during the summer, but have these kids, they can have breaks and they can have spring break and things like that. And you can elongate that, but they shouldn't be home for 3 months. They're not learning. So the big problem I'm seeing is parents are like, what do we do with the kid? We can't afford summer camp, right? Or we can't afford vacation all the time. 3 months. We don't have the money to do 3 months of vacation because we adults have to work. I remember having that conversation with my boys. I'm like, I'm like, why aren't you doing this? Maybe you should be doing summer school. And they go, no, because it's summer break. And I go, summer break ends in high school because you're going to have jobs. There's no summer break for grown-ups. And I remember them looking shocked, like there's no summer break. I go, do I look like I have a summer break? I need to go to work. So what do you do with your kids so they're not just watching Netflix or on the screens? So there's a lot of tech-free activities you could do, a lot of them. You're going to need sometimes an adult to supervise. But here's an example of something we did with our kid. So one of my really good friends, his mom, when she was alive, gave me this table. She goes, do you need an extra table? And when I was in medical school, I needed all the furniture I could get. And the table was really nice. It was white and it was kind of textured. And it was, but we had this table and my husband's like, well, I don't think we need it anymore. What should we do? I go, why don't we have the kids paint it? Let the kids paint it and use it as furniture in the room. So they got the blue, they got the green, they got the red, they got the yellow paint, and they painted it. And they felt like they helped make furniture. Depending on their age, there's a lot of things you could do and you don't have money. I used to take them into Michael's or Hobby Lobby and let them go, look, what do you want to make? What do you want to do? I want to make a model plane, or I want to make this. And if they think, well, I don't want to, do things. I don't want to just, do things. I'd rather do this. Sometimes you could say, look, we need to decorate this wall. We got to decorate this bathroom. What should be here? Well, we could do a painting. Do you want to do the painting? Do you want to do that? Let's decorate the wall. Or we need to make something for grandma's wall. Or we need to, and so you could create things. I bring this up, and I know a lot of you guys are going to laugh, but have your kids write a book. It doesn't have to be a best-selling New York Times book. Your 8-year-old can write a book. Even if it's 10 pages, Amazon will publish it for free. Have the kids work on a book. Yeah, well, how to be a good big brother, how to be a good little sister, what you should do with your pets, what you should do. Let them write. It doesn't cost you any money, even if there's misspelled words. Now, I know some of you are like, well, Dahlia, if we publish it, then that could be used against them. With the then do a surname. Go, what author name do you want to use? The dog's name? Our dog's name is Snort. Then fine, authored by Snort. In fact, that's a fun thing. Have your kids write the book as if they're the dog. Well, today I woke up and I did pee-pee house. And then mom slipped on the pee-pee and mom yelled at me. Day 2, I went pee-pee house and I ate the cat's eats. And I mean, do that. Let them do that. And then they could pick a cover. They could publish it on Amazon. Yeah, you might have to spend a couple bucks to get the copy. But oh my God, the family will love it that your kid authored a book. And if they're old enough to actually author something pretty cool, it's going to build up their resume. I mean, if there are free camps to go to, have them do some of those. If you can, take them camping or fishing. That's good. But let's say you don't have a lot of time off and you can't travel, or gas prices are too high, whatever. One thing that I think is really fun that I did with my kids is let's go look for lizards. We're not going to hunt the lizards. We're not going to kill them. But what we're going to do is let's go find some lizards. So we would go out into the desert area, and we didn't want to find snakes, but you'd find lots of little lizards. And, I would teach him about the desert landscape because I went to school in Vegas and in Phoenix. And so in Phoenix, we always had our desert survival courses. So we learned a lot about that. So I'm like, okay, guys, let's go find some lizards. You could do bug collections, although I don't want anybody to necessarily kill the bugs. But, if you're trying to get them outside, dig a hole. Digging a hole is fun. Making mud pies. Do that. Now, when I was a kid, we would take magnifying glasses and try to burn leaves. I don't want people starting fires. But, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff you could do outside. You could take some crayons and watch them melt and see how long it takes to melt. And then indoors. Let's say it's too hot. So you don't want to go outdoors. You want to do indoors. Teach them how to make popsicles. Get a bunch of popsicle sticks. Have them make a nice fruity drink. Right? And then have them stick the popsicles in them. Have them bake. Have them cook. Have them help you do meal preparation. Have them help you cook. There's a lot of different things that you could do. Bird watching, flower photography. Let's come up with some really good pictures, and then let's blow them up, and we'll decorate the house with them. But they need to feel like they're doing something. Now, I remember my kids would get bored, so I'm like, well, I'll take you to Target. So would walk around Target because there'd be air conditioning. But the problem is then they want to buy stuff. So taking them to stores is not good because then they want to buy something. But if you're going to take them to like a Home Depot or a Lowe's or take them to like a hobby store, what is something you want to make or something you want to create? Another thing is charity work. All right, guys, we need to drop off clothes and stuff, you're going to come with me. And, you're going to be a hero doing this. So what can we donate? What do we have? Let's go around the house and find something that could be really, really good to sell or not to sell, to donate. And then that too, let's say do a garage sale. Kids like money. They like making money. Okay, guys, this summer we're going to do a garage sale. Let's make some crafts. Let's do some drawings. Let's find things that look good, but let's make some money. And then with that money, we'll use it for a trip or a toy or something like that. Lemonade stands. I did that in the summer. Lemonade stands are awesome. And if you live in a neighborhood where your neighbors are really, really cool, lemonade stands are fantastic. Make sure they have something overhead and make sure they don't get dehydrated. But anytime I see kids do a lemonade stand, it's interesting because I go, wow, this is they go, yeah, because we want to raise money for our parents' birthday gift. They're probably lying through their teeth. But you know what? I'm sold. The fact that you're here and you're not playing games, and you're actually learning how to make money and you're learning how to do sales. So the other day I was at the grocery store with my son, and 2 kids came up to us saying, will you buy our candy? And they had all these boxes of candy. And I go, yeah, because I'm thinking it's $1 a piece. They go, $5. I go, $5. They're selling them inside the store for $3 for $5 because they bought them and then they went and they sold them. They were, but I'm like, how about this? I'll give you $2. All right. I'll give you $2. And they took it. They took it. But, to see them, even though, yeah, they bought it cheaper and then they went to people in the parking lot to upsell, that took some guts. That took a lot of, that took some marketing savvy. And they knew exactly what to say to get me to buy something. In fact, I think I gave them $3 because I wanted to give them a tip. All right. I go, here's $2 and here's a tip. But don't be trying to sell these for $5. Okay? You'll make more if you sell them a little cheaper. 1-877-Doc-Dolly. Don't go away.
Can you believe, with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA-1. That's 800-JBS-USA-1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA-1 today.